What happens when you don't enter sweepstakes? That might sound like a really, really strange question coming from me, the contest queen. But I have been going through a bit of a void because I am currently on track to publish 5 books. Yes, you heard me, an insane amount. 5 books by December 31st. 2 print editions and 3 Audible. 1 Audible is already out. I'm recording the second one. This week, I'm starting the first print book. Then I'm going to have someone else narrate it because it is written by a man. And I'm going to finish Prizes Everywhere by December 31st because that was on track to be published. And then the pandemic happened and I started working on other projects. And for some reason, it just sat, even though I think also with the pandemic, when a lot of contests and sweepstakes stopped for a while, I didn't really feel like writing about winning when there wasn't any winning to be had. But in the meantime, here I am publishing all these books and barely entering right now. Now, I will have to get back into the swing of things and back to my old level of entering for an hour to 2 hours a day because I need examples and screenshots for the new book. So I'm going to see an upswing in wins. But I tell you, scrolling Facebook and seeing all my friends winning, and I'm so busy that I'm not entering. I'm like, I need to start finding the time to get back into it because I do enter 1 or 2 here and there. But there's some big prizes to be won. And I wanted to talk today about September because August is really big for all the back to school giveaways. It's a great time to win any back to school supplies, backpacks, laptops. Like I've seen giveaways, printer, like you name it, anything back to school I've seen giveaways for. Sweepstakes are really seasonal. At certain times of the year, you'll see baseball giveaways, basketball giveaways, football giveaways, hockey giveaways. Like there's seasons for prizes. Barbecues are usually given away in the summer. You'll see the snow blowers in the winter. Right now is back to school. You'll have the Mother Day giveaways and the Father Day giveaways. It's all very seasonal. But next week, and I've already started seeing the notifications, I do think I'm going to jump on the bandwagon a little sooner than later because I got a notification that Tim Hortons is doing. They used to do roll up the rim. Who remembers roll up the rim? Then the pandemic happened, so they canceled their giveaway. Actually, it even goes back farther than that. This is actually a little bit of interesting history on one particular sweepstakes. They used to host it in, I think it was February, and it was annual, and it was very popular. And there's all kinds of stories around it. People, somebody buys coffee for the office, someone wins a truck. They go, hey, I bought coffee. It's my truck. They're like, no, you gave me the cup. It's my truck. Fights over that kind of stuff. Or someone found a thrown away cup. There was 2 girls that found it together. It won. Then it went to court. It was just a fiasco. Anyway, one particular year we had disastrous weather and their sales were down. That was 2019. So they thought, in 2020, we're going to push it forward. So it's not in as much of a snow season. It'll start to run into spring. Maybe we'll have better weather. Sales will be up. Well, don't you know, right when they launched it, we had the lockdowns and then no one was even going to the store. And then they had all the cups for the roll-up part. Who was going to touch cups in the pandemic? Because how the pieces worked is, you roll up the rim and you'd rip it off. And a lot of times people use their teeth to rip it off. And then the staff would touch it. They wanted nothing to do with this. They canceled it. They have literally, I think you print something like 36 million cups, trashed all the cups and made it online. So it became roll up to win. And they had a few problems with it the first year. They had a few hiccups, but it went pretty good. A lot of people complained though because not everybody had a cell phone, not everybody had the app, not everyone could play. and their app wasn't as good. It's getting better, I have to say. It's been clunky sometimes, but I think they finally are getting the hang of having the app. And so then I think this will be the fourth year, the third year they had it. And now, because they're trying to encourage people to use the app to pay for their coffee, not just scan for points, which, because they changed their point system this year, they're doing a scan and pay contest starting Monday, like a week from today. I haven't had a chance to go look at it. I don't know, because there's a lot of American locations and Canadian locations, so I don't know if it's cross-border, but I think it's a very interesting way to get people to encourage them to use their app to pay. But again, you're going to hear a lot of complainings because, if you're a senior and you don't use a cell phone like that, you're not going to have a chance to win. So I think there's going to be some complaints, but I'm going to be interested to see. And normally George and I split a coffee every morning because his retirement goal was when he stopped working full time. He works for himself. He still does contracting, but it's part-time, sometimes full-time, sometimes part-time. And his goal was he was going to go across the street. We live a block and a half from a Tim Hortons. He goes over there. I say he chuckles over there. He laughs. He goes, "What is that? It's not even a word." I'm like, "You chuckle over there." And he gets himself a coffee, and he usually drinks a medium, but now he buys a large, and we split it. But now I'm going to start going with him and buying my own coffee with the app so I can get entries into the giveaway. We'll see what happens. New car would be fun. And there's lots of prizes. There's weekly prizes, instant prizes. It's going to be interesting. So that's how a contest has evolved over time and how they're changing it, and why companies use sweepstakes as a marketing tool. I was a marketer before I was a sweeper. I think one of the reasons I understood the hobby, because I saw it both from the entrance perspective and the marketer's perspective. And companies don't do giveaways out of the goodness of their hearts. Yeah, who knew? And they do giveaways because they want you to take some form of action, and they're rewarding you with an opportunity to win, and sometimes a prize, depending on the giveaway. And so clearly they're using this giveaway because the grand prize is a car. That's a pretty good incentive to start using an app. So they're driving consumer behavior specifically. And that's why you see a lot of companies that have, PIN codes or game pieces or something on a product or in a package, or take a picture of a receipt to drive engagement. And then depending on the purchase of the item, sometimes I do the no purchase entry. Sometimes it's actually cheaper by the time you use stamps to actually just go buy the product and take a picture of the receipt. So you get an entry and you have the product, and it's still cheaper than postage. So sometimes it's not worth doing the alternative method of entry, or the no purchase necessary entry. Depends on the lingo the lawyers like to use in the rules. So sometimes it's an MPE and sometimes it's an AMOE. Depends on how they worded it. And so I was talking about this because the other thing that I saw was the radio contest. Now, they quiet down in the summer. There's always giveaways. I mean, it's never zero for the radio stations, but they gear up in the fall. And in my area, we have payroll payout. They start off with a $5,000 signing bonus, as they say. And the first name called on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Wins $5,000. So you better believe I'm signing up. So I haven't been entering a lot, but that I think is going to change starting next week. I'm going to have to be listening to all my radio stations. So I set all my alarms back on my phone 5 minutes before the hour. And I name the alarm the radio stations that I should be listening to, so that I know what to be listening for, or which station to tune into. And I'm sure there's going to be others, but that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I haven't been entering. And I have entered occasionally. It was funny because I was doing a demonstration for something and I entered a contest because I needed a screenshot. And then George and I won tickets to go see a show because I entered the giveaway because I needed a slide. I thought that was pretty funny. So you never know. Even entering a little bit, it only takes one to win. That's what I tell people. Now, I didn't have any questions. This is the first time in a long time. I haven't had any questions sent to me in advance. So let me scroll through and see if anybody has any questions. Oh, a lot of hellos. Love it. Oh, there's Caroline. She's in Australia, and we're hoping she can come to Las Vegas for the next annual National Sweepstakes Convention, because I think that would be the first person outside of a Canadian internationally that's been. I might be wrong because I haven't been to all of them, and I don't know all the sweepstakes stats, but I think. Everybody's talking about their state. Okay, so Jean says, yeah, we don't have a Tim Hortons. It depends. I don't know. I don't want to leave the live stream to go Google. They're not in all the states. I know they're more in the northeastern United States. And they're not as popular as I think Dunkin' Donuts down there. And the American ones I know don't have the same menu, because I stopped one time and I asked for a steep tea and the girl just looked blankly at me. And I'm thinking, I think you guys have a different menu. Hang on, let me look. Because I don't look, because I just order my order. And I just had to get a regular tea. It's very funny. We're very British here. Finding hot tea in the United States is not as easy as it is in Canada or Australia or any of the British Commonwealth countries. Someone's saying, will there be an AMOE for Hortons? I'm positive there will be, because by law they have to. But I haven't had a chance. Literally every day now for the past, month, really, every day I make a list of all the things I have to do. There's always more on the list, and I literally just sit and plow through it. Last couple of weeks I was finishing my accounting. The accountant needed a bunch of files, and I hadn't done these reports. I've been putting them off, and I just sat down and I did those. I've been promoting the Audible book. Actually, I do need to update the rules for the giveaway on here, because you can also pick the Audible version of the Name It and Claim It game. I forgot to put that in the rules because it's brand new and I didn't even think about it. So the winner will have that chance to pick that if they win. And also I'm a couple draws behind, so I'm going to be catching up this week on that. Like I said, my to-do list is scary long, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm already now recording the In Contact with Other Realms, and the Name It and Claim It game's been translated into Spanish. So, and Janice says there's no Tim Hortons in Washington State yet, but the past sweeps have been interesting. To my knowledge, there aren't any Tim Hortons in Washington State. Yes, the past sweeps have been valid in Washington. Well, isn't that a little weird? I guess then you just do the AMOE. Right? Like that's. Oh, Caroline said, my husband won a Smeg toaster and a kettle. Oh my gosh. That must be like $1,000. Oh, excuse me. $1,000. $1,000 prize. Holy cow. Yes, Smegs are really nice. I want an air fryer. And so we wanted to downsize our toaster because I want to keep it up on the counter. Oh my gosh, is that thing fun? I still haven't done, I've done an full unboxing video on YouTube, but I haven't done an Instagram post or TikTok for the sponsor, which I also wanted to do, because I did promise I would do an unboxing. I did it on one platform, but I really need to do the others. And I haven't had a chance, and we've been using it. Wow, those things are great. Will it air fry? But so we were looking for new toasters, and wow, a Smeg toaster and kettle. That's something. And Caroline lives in Australia, so they boil their water in a kettle for tea, for a good cuppa, right? I got my green tea here. Oh, DC's, I'm dying to win a sweepstakes. Okay, we are going to, she says, I've applied so many believing I'd win. Now I'm left with his thousands of annoying emails. Okay, we are going to fix that. There is ways around that. First of all, just start unsubscribing for all those. First, I hope you used an email address just for entering sweepstakes. Second, start unsubscribing from all those emails, or if they're gross, just start marking them as spam, and your provider will start blocking them for you. Okay, that's the first thing. The third thing is, where are you finding your sweepstakes? You need to be using a sweepstakes aggregate or sweepstakes site to find legitimate sweepstakes for you to enter, where they aggregate them all into one place. They've vetted them. It's much easier to enter. And then they have, depending on the site, there's different features, but you can search by type. Like if you don't like to travel, you can just avoid those giveaways. Or if you particularly want to win electronics, you can look just for, TVs or computers, whatever. You can sort by type of promotion. So here's, so if you can answer some of my questions while I'm there, because I'd like to know. So it depends on where you live, depends on the sweepstakes aggregate that you're going to use. The hobby is bigger in some countries than others. Some countries, I've had people email me literally from all over the world. Some countries don't have aggregates. Like the Czechoslovakia does not have a sweepstakes aggregate that I know of. And the hobby isn't as big there. So they're having to use other sites and do their own searches for worldwide giveaways, or companies, or just keep their eye out and their ears open in their own country. For example, keeping your ear out to the local radio station, learning to spot the word win at 100 paces. There's actually a scientific thing about this. I talked about it in another live. It's called the reticular activator. Oh, yes, I did it actually in the last virtual contest club meeting. It's called the reticular activator. And it's a lot of psychologists or speakers will use this example. You decide to buy a car, you go to the dealership, you do a few test drives, and you're thinking about the car. You haven't made your decision yet. And you start driving around, and suddenly you see that model everywhere. Your brain filters out so much information, but if it determines that something's important, it will not filter it out. It will make you notice it. So what happens is you turn that on for the word win or giveaway or sweepstakes or prize or whatever. You can be walking down the street and your head will snap because you will spot something out of the corner of your eye that is a promotion. You get really good at it. So depending on where you live, just start looking for those. Okay. And once you get good at it, it helps. So when you're shopping, this is where the cell phones come in really handy. A lot of people take pictures. Like if you see an ad for sweepstakes on a box or something. One time, this is a great story. I don't know, how long ago was this? Maybe 6 or 7 years ago now. So I'm in the grocery store and we have a list, and I split it with Lane and I say, you go get the chips and she wanted her snackies. So I said, okay, you go pick the chips you want. I ran around getting the fruit, veg, milk, whatever. And I was done. And I'm like, where is this girl? And I go down the chip aisle, and there she is with her phone in front of a bag of chips. She found one with the sweepstakes on it, and she wanted to take a picture to make sure that I didn't miss it. I thought, oh my gosh, I've trained this kid so well. Like, really. But anyway, I said, well, we like this one, so why don't we just buy it and then we have it. We can support the sponsor too, and we get the product, so, and that was a fun one because it was Doritos that year, and you had to enter a code, but you had to enter a code from every bag, and I think you had to show the receipt or something. Anyway, I bought one of every flavor, so then I think you got into different prizes for different ones, but if you entered all 5, you were in to win a trip to Iceland. Sadly, I did not win. But that year at her birthday party, because I bought all of them, we only served Doritos. There was no other munchies available at this party because we had like every flavor, so I could win. That's how you know it's a sweeper's house. Because we do silly things like that. That was also the year we had won the candy. This was the second to last Michigan Wolverines one-day sweepstakes event that we went to. And it was when they had the theme Irish Luck. And Lane and I dressed up like a rainbow. I was the rainbow with rain and clouds and things. And she was the pot of gold. So she looked like a little leprechaun and a pot of gold. And it was so cute. And yeah, we came in second place. I still think we should have won that contest. But anyway, we were having such a good year. It was the year I think I won the most at any convention I've ever been to. We were just clean. We won this one and we won that one. Anyway, at the end, we're going, one more prize. And then we won the piñata. We went crazy. It had like 10 pounds of candy in it. And it was perfect for her birthday party because the event was in April and her birthday was in May. And so the party, we did it at the end of May, so the weather was a little better because she's right at the beginning of May and it's sometimes iffy where we live. And I did it in the garage, and then we had so that way if the weather wasn't good, the kids weren't going to get soaked. And we hung it from the ceiling, and the kids just went at it. And I've got a picture. I stood on a chair and I got a picture of all these kids, their hands are in grabbing all this candy. It was such a good prize. That's the one thing about this hobby, is that you can win things that are just great to share and make memories and all that. And okay, and Dee says she lives in Canada. So the three most popular websites for Canada right now for sweepstakes. One is contestcanada.net. I believe contestcanada.com is relaunching, but I haven't touched base with anybody. And since I'm going to be working on prizes everywhere as soon as I finish Money and You, I'm going to retouch base with everybody to make sure everything I have is still current, because it sat for, I think, far too long. And then there's Contest Girl and there's Red Flag Deals. Red Flag Deals has a contest forum that's extremely popular. So I would pick one of those three, or even just try each one for like a week. Now, for contestcanada.net, my preference is to get the daily email because it lists all the sweepstakes that were added the day before. And then you can just go through your email and enter the ones you want and add them into your sweepstakes entry system. But if you're not that organized, you can also use Contest Girl, because she has if you sign up for her site, she has a My Sweeps feature where if you find one you want to come back and enter every day, you can add it to your sweeps and then just come back. But another tip is always enter whatever is in your sweepstakes list before you add new sweepstakes, because otherwise you don't want to disqualify yourself by accidentally entering twice into something. So those are the 4 things I would do. Like, get an email address just for entering, unsubscribe for as much as you can. And you don't have to do it all at once. If you're getting so many emails, if you did 10 or 20 a day over the course of a month, you would unsubscribe from hundreds. And then anything that looks fishy, just mark it as spam, let your provider deal with it. And then use an aggregate. Those are the 3 that I would recommend, depending on what you're looking for. Contest Girl is actually does Canada and the United States. So sometimes if you're searching for a particular prize, like sometimes what I'll put in is the word instant, and there'll be like 8 pages of instant giveaways and 2 are for Canada and the rest are American. So that sometimes happens. I hope that helps. And also, it's a numbers game. Also enter local. Like, where I do best, believe it or not, is I win more from all my local, like, companies, radio stations, anything regional. I do very well in, for some reason. Because think about it, the entry pool. So if you live in Vancouver, you're going to want to enter for all the local radio stations there. right? And now if you're not in a major market, so for example, if you live in Saskatoon or Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, even though you're in a capital city of the province, it's not considered as major a market as, say, Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal. So sometimes the prizes for those radio stations isn't going to be as big. Sometimes they do have the big prizes, but if you read the rules, they're multi-market. So you'll read it, and they're giving away one grand prize across all the radio stations across the whole country. So you have to watch for that. And living in Toronto, for example, there's more movie premieres here than any other city in Canada. Whereas, it's like living in New York or Los Angeles. Like, for example, Tom Cavalli, who's in Florida, he lives, 30 minutes from Disney. There is so many giveaways for cruises and things in the parks for Florida residents that nobody else is eligible for, and he's in driving distance. Is perfect for him. Again, if you live in Los Angeles, there's ones for movie premieres and Disney and Universal and things like that. If you live in Boise, Idaho, you're not going to have an opportunity to enter those. As they're regional, they'll have sometimes national promotions to win a trip to those places, but it's not always the case, right? Like, for example, Tom recently won tickets to the Daytona 500. He just won the tickets, but he's in driving distance of a Daytona, whereas other people won the trip and drove or flew down. Okay, so Donna has a question. Can you answer this? Beer companies like Heineken states you can only enter every 6 months. Is it from when you were notified to win or when you received the prize? You can ask them, but it's generally when you're notified of a win, right? Because that's when the clock started kind of ticking. So I would mark it kind of on your calendar or put it in your calendar saying, hey, reminder, you can start entering this brand again. But if you're really unsure, you can always ask the sponsor, thank you very much, I'm so excited. Thank them when you get the prize and say, hey, I just want to make sure I don't disqualify myself and don't waste your time. I know the rules state this. Is it from this? Because you know what? One company will say one thing and one company might say another. Because marketers are human people. Okay, so now the other thing that's been happening since I haven't been entering a lot of sweepstakes is I actually miss it. Like, it's crazy how much I miss sitting down every day and dreaming about prizes and winning and looking at this thing and looking at that thing and just, oh, wouldn't that be great? And I think that's fantastic. And wow. And just even it's almost like a little motivational or manifestation exercise where you just get to dream about all the positive what ifs for, an hour instead of, I've talked about this because I've been splitting Contest Queen. So all my chats about the law of attraction and mindset and all that is moving to Words for Winning. And I'm doing another live stream tomorrow night on that. So if you want to go there, but just on the sweepstakes part of it, sometimes if I'm not having a good day, what I used to love to do is, get my cup up and sit down and enter for an hour and start dreaming out of all the good things. And by the time I finished, I was feeling really good. It actually helped raise my vibration and raise my energy and made me more joyful because I was entering sweepstakes and I started dreaming. Because the idea is you can't be, Helene tells a story in her book about the neighbor that, she went to the post office with her because there was no online entries in her day. They went to the post office and the neighbor threw in all the entries into the mail slot and said, well, there goes nothing. She was so negative. And Helene was flabbergasted because she always imagined that the mail that she was sending, that was bringing her back the win. she was, putting good juju out there every time she entered. And so one of the things they say is you should always be in a positive frame of mind when you're entering, because that's the energy you're putting out there to the sweepstakes. But sometimes I think it works in reverse. If you're a little glum, you can use it to raise your mood. And hello, congratulations. I just saw this come through. I just won $500 Visa gift card in the Children's Place Instant Win game. Congratulations. Now, you know what's really interesting about that? So someone's watching me and sweeping. I totally love that. What's really cool about that is in my brain, and I don't know why this is, maybe because it's tied to an actual statistic, I think it's always better to win in the middle of the night or early in the morning. And one of my biggest instant wins was early in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. However, other prizes I have won instantly that I absolutely love that were in the middle of the day. Once I entered a code, because I was doing codes at 11:30 in the morning, and the next day at 11:30 morning, I won again. I won 2 different prizes. That was amazing. Another time, she did, what time is it? 8:30 p.m. And I don't even know what time zone she is, but that's another tip. When you're reading the rules, look to see what time zone the rules are written for. Because if you're on the East Coast, it might end at 8:59 for you, like just 1 minute before 9, when it ends at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. But then if you stay up late, you are entering in the middle of the night, our time. It's going to be interesting to see when people win. Yeah, so Oxford says late night and early morning are great. But again, you just proved to everyone listening that you can win at any time. Because how they do it is it's all a computer program. So they're setting up the sweepstakes, and they have so many instant prizes to be won, and they literally code the computer. We have this many prizes, this many cars, this many gift cards, this many gift cards at this price point, this many gift cards at this price point, this much swag, this much, whatever it is. They punch it all in. And the computer literally randomizes it. So there's one giving away a prize a day. So they'll say, 1 prize per day. They'll program it. Here's all the prizes. We have 1 prize per day, and it goes and it programs it to any time during the day. So it could be at 12:01 a.m. or it could be at 11:59 p.m. or anywhere in between. But it will program it for 1 a day. And the person that enters closest to that time wins the instant prize after the time has passed. So again, it's completely computer randomized by a computer. So you can win literally at any time. And Oxford just proved it. Congratulations. That's a great gift card prize. So handy. Plus you can even share it. Like you could be buying gifts for it. And wait, here's my gift card tip. I always wait for the sales. Oh my goodness. We need to rub Oxford's arm for luck. Going through my winter notifications, I won a limited edition Peach Oreos packet. 28 wins since March. Oh my gosh. I love the weird prizes, I have to say. I don't have any within reach of my live stream. Well, actually, I don't. I do have one, but he's behind the other screen. I'm not going to get up and get it. But I love weird swag. It is so fun to have things show up that are branded. Like George wearing a t-shirt today. It was from my Daisy and the Six contest. So she won. So in the pack was this t-shirt for a band for their 1974 concert tour, and it's got dates and places, everything on the back for a band that doesn't even exist. Like, I love it, right? Like, it's so funny. Oh, Caroline shows she got cookies. 144 packs of cookies was popular for a while at a former workplace. One time I saw one of my Sweepy friends. She won a lot of Reese's. She says, I'm going to be the house at Halloween this year. I'm like, oh my gosh. But one year I remember we won Hubba Bubba, like so many packs. We must have had like 500. We were giving away full packs of Hubba Bubba at Halloween. And at that point, where we lived, we had about 100 kids come through. And I think we were literally, I had other candy for the little kids because they can't chew gum. I gave the little ones like Smarties. You guys in the States, they call Rockets Smarties. And they look like M&Ms. I say they taste better. I always give them as prizes when I do the US. And oh my goodness, look at this. I got to post this. She says, it's so fun when prizes just show up. She won a Tito's yoga mat as a runner-up prize. Oh my God, how fun is that? Which is the irony of doing yoga on a liquor branded mat. I love it. It's so fun. It's kind of almost, I used to buy swag back in the day when I was an event manager. I was the event marketing manager of a company. So I did all the trade shows, we did the grand opening. I did the Christmas party. I sent out cards to all the clients all the time. I did the company Christmas, the company picnic, and basically any event, all the trade shows. I think I said that already, but any of that. Plus I bought all the swag for the company. So I love me a good swag. I can tell when somebody's actually bought some quality stuff. You can tell. And I just love it. But I also love it when companies are like cheeky with it. Like really? Like an alcohol all over the mat. Like I think there's a thing out there called beer yoga. I think you do so many poses and then you sip beer and then you do more poses and you sip beer. How are you going to stand and tree pose after you've had a few? You're just going to all over. But it's so fun to have cheeky prizes. I just love them. It makes, I don't know, it makes things a little bit fun. And that's what I miss. I miss that. Like, isn't it funny? Now, I do know I was much worse off in the past. So I started entering on a daily basis in 2001. And in 2004, we won a huge trip. It was our first big trip. And we won a trip to, no, actually, it wasn't our first one. We went to Florida first. So I think this was our second or third trip now that I think about it. But we went to Bob Bloomer's house. And we had this, I had this old crappy laptop. And let me see. Yeah, because I was complaining about it to my ex at the time. He finally, after, I don't know, maybe 6 months of me complaining about it, he came to fix something on it. He went, this is terrible. And then he bought me a new computer, and it was fantastic. And it was like twice as fast. And I was able to put RoboForm on it. That's why I know exactly when I started using RoboForm. If you go back, I interviewed Simon Davis of RoboForm because I've been using it for 20 years this year from February, because that's when I got the new computer. I have no idea how I'd function without RoboForm. Not only do I use it for just organize my sweepstakes, but I just use it for work. Like I never have to remember passwords, and it's encrypted and yada yada. Anyway, so oh my gosh, I think I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so then we went on the trip to LA, and I had this old crappy laptop, and I'm in the hotel room, and he's sleeping a little bit, and I went to Starbucks and I got a cup of tea and a muffin or something, and I came back to the room and I was trying to enter sweepstakes. And again, this is 2004, so no, it had to be 3 because this is the 20th anniversary. So it was 2003, and I couldn't get it to connect. It was awful. because wireless wasn't really a thing, or and I couldn't get the landline to work, and then the computer itself wasn't loading, and I was so frustrated, and I wasn't entering, and I was kind of shaking like an addict who couldn't, and I thought, this is nuts. I can go a couple of days without entering sweepstakes. This is ridiculous. If I'm going to win, I'm going to win. And then I was just like, that was it. I just, just sat and enjoyed my tea and forgot about it. And so I do notice a little bit, I'll say, withdrawal from the fun of it, but not like, serious, like I have to enter, because it's terrible. We did that. They named it, I don't know why they named it this, Winning for a Living. We even told them it was a terrible name, but they didn't listen to us, the producers, anyway, because we're not earning our living winning. I don't know anybody that does. Anyway, you can supplement your life and you can enhance your life, but you can't live off sweepstakes prizes because it's all chance. Anyway, there was Mike in there and he was addicted and it was terrible. They featured him and I was like, oh, this is awful. This isn't how most sweepers are. And yeah, I was just shaking my head at that one. And then I talked to him years later, and apparently he had an accident and hit his head. And he said he just never entered sweepstakes again after that. It just kind of knocked it out of him. I was like, okay. I thought that was a bit like, he literally like, anyway. Oh, I love that you say cheeky. I'm British. Well, I guess with Oxford. Oh, this is a good one. I recently won on Twitter from Tasting Table, Lobos taco holders and a gift card for the tequila. Nice. Those taco holders would be so handy at the house when you make your own at home. Yeah, I also love practical prizes. Like I got the air fryer. One of my other favorite wins is a big popcorn maker. Actually, I just did a TikTok because one of the fellas that I interviewed, because he worked for the OLG, but in the sports betting area, but he had some tips for us as sweepers entering the lottery, because a lot of the lotteries sometimes have second chance or other things. So always check your local lottery corporation, state or provincial, because they don't have them. They have more second chance in the States than they do in Canada, but there's always something. You got to keep your eye out. Anyway, he was complaining because now none of the stores have grocery bags and he has to forget. But I had won from Seventh Generation, this tiny one of those bags that, because Seventh Generation is all about recycling, right? So their swag matched their brand. And they had this little bag and I just throw it in my purse. I always keep it. So if I'm out somewhere and I need a shopping bag, I just undo the whole thing and I have this big shopping bag and it folds down to like this big. Like it's like half the size of this teacup. It's so tiny. He was complaining about it and I did a video on TikTok, stitching his complaint. And I go, hey, I won this and it's a practical prize and here's how you use it. It's so handy to have some of these things. Like it's crazy how sometimes, prizes are super handy. Like I have from Flip, when they first launched, I won some of those grocery boxes, the ones that fold down flat, but you can pop them out. And a lot of times people use them in their shopping cart and they put all the groceries in them, they pay, and then they just reload them. But I have them in the back with all my grocery bags because I collect the Trader Joe bags. Oh, I should do a thing one day and figure out what I have and how many I'm missing. Anyway, that's kind of a weird little hobby on the side I have. I trade Canadian candy at every convention when I go down. Who's going to bring me bags from whatever state or city? And I collect them. And then sometimes I've had a couple break because they're only 99 cents. And people have brought me replacements. God bless them. And I saw Rochelle put up, she just won a pair of eyeglasses from iBuy Direct. I haven't won anything in at least 2 weeks, maybe 3. Oh goodness, you must be going through withdrawal too. Congratulations. And I know you wear glasses like me. So that's a really, again, practical prize, like saving you money. Yeah, I agree. I love hearing about everyone's winnings. That makes me so happy. I love getting those emails that say, I won this, I won that. I'm like, yay. Especially when people just start. They're like, my first win, I got something. So yeah, Dee, we're going to get you sorted. And give it a bit of time. Like you could, okay, so here's my advice too. You could win instantly, like just like Oxford. You could fit, we could get off this live stream. You could go to one of the sites. You can find some of the instant ones. You could start entering. You could literally win today. You could literally win today. It is completely possible. Oh my gosh. You won the golden spoon from Halo ice cream. I used it to eat my blackberry jello and sweet. Oh my gosh. That's very funny. That's a shishi prize. Like, oh, I'm using my gold spoon. That's very funny. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. That's so funny. Anyway, so Dee, you could literally win tonight. Or you could start a system where you're entering every day and it takes a couple of weeks and boom, it's kind of like the sale. I always equate it to the sales funnel. You start entering, the cold leads, the medium leads, the hot leads, and then the closes. And so when you go down that funnel, you win. So, and when you're consistently putting in the entries, you start winning regularly. And sometimes you have little breaks, like Rochelle had a 2 to 3 week gap. And then she could win 3 tomorrow. Like sometimes it happens, like you'll have it almost comes in waves. Sometimes you'll win a bunch and then it'll be a little break, and then you'll win a bunch and a little break, and then you'll win something huge, and then you'll win a few little things, and then but I want you to also think when you're entering, I wonder if this is the one that I'm going to win. Play the what. Oh, now I've got the hiccups. What a night. It's my lucky spoon. I'm so superstitious. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I hope you hand wash that sucker. Yeah, it is so much fun. It is a good hobby, but always play the what if game when you're entering. What if this is the one I wonder? Oh, and wonder. You can also use what if, what if I win this one? Are we going to go to Hawaii? Who am I going to take with me to that trip? Oh, I shouldn't say Hawaii right now. They're probably changing it. Yeah, and I that's another thing about the hobby. Companies, you will find a clause in every set of rules that the companies have the right to change the prize at their discretion. Like the rules are written for the sponsor, not the entrant. So one time I won a prize. I won a guitar for George, and the guitar that I won wasn't available. So they sent me a lesser value guitar, and then they apologized and they sent me a check for the difference. Legally, they didn't have to do that, but they had the sense to know that they didn't want me to be disappointed. So I was like, cool. He was just learning anyway because he plays drums. So it didn't matter if it wasn't the exact same guitar because he was still learning. So that's, sometimes how they do it. But they can change the prize at any time. So if there's something that shifts in the world, like when everything started getting locked down, some companies just canceled their contest altogether, which they have the legal right to do. Other ones just said, hey, if we can't award the prize, we're just going to give you the cash value instead, because they didn't want to stop the marketing. So they just said, hey, they just put like an alert on the contest entry page that said, hey, yeah, there might be a change here. And again, they have the legal right to do it because they have that clause in there. Rochelle, oh, this is me. Oops, wrong one. Force majeure. I always think I'm going to win every sweep I enter. Yes. Yes, and you have to stay positive during the lulls. Absolutely. Does anybody have any other questions? Because I might wrap up early this week. And then I'll go change the rules to add in the Audible option because I forgot. It's new. I'm so excited. Also, speaking of Audible and a giveaway, hello, I wouldn't be the contest queen if I didn't host a giveaway. So if you haven't already entered, go to my website and it's on the homepage, and you can win one of 5 Audible copies of the Name It and Claim It game. And then, and if you want to hear a sample, you can go to the Name It and Claim It game page on my website, and I have the Audible sample there. Like, I have the Audible sample there because they actually make you create a special book sample to upload that they use so people can listen and decide if they want to buy the book. So it's kind of like the Peek Inside on Amazon. It's similar. So we created one, and then because I have the file, I just added it to my website so people could have a listen. So I have a sample chapter, which I'm going to be updating, by the way, because now I have a new format that looks so pretty. So I'm going to be updating that one to match. I mean, the information is the same. It's just going to look, a little more branded, schmancier. So I'm going to be doing that. And then, so you can listen to a sample there. And then it ends on the 1st. Then the following week, I'm going to do one of my words for winning. Now, Tom Cavalli gave me crap for having so many options in Rafflecopter. And he's like, do 3. Now, I don't have any locked. So you can enter just one of them and be in to win because it's all random. But he said, chop a bunch out. So I'm going to chop a bunch out for the next one. I'm going to make it much smaller for words for winning. And I'm going to be hosting it on that site next week. So if you don't win this week, you can always win next week. And of course, being the Conscious Queen, I'm going to always host giveaways on Words for Winning every time I launch a book of any kind. So right now it's the Audible one. Next month, depending on how fast I can edit, or October, there'll be Money in You. And I'm not sure how long it's going to take us to record In Contact with Other Realms, because strangely enough, the recording process is just the same as the book writing process, and the editing takes longer than the initial recording. That's what happened with the Name It and Claim It game, and that's what happened when I wrote the books. The editing takes so much longer than the actual writing. It's kind of crazy. Oh, this is very funny. Oxford said in 1978, you couldn't lie in bed and win money and prizes. Well, you kind of could, because you could be filling out 3x5s to mail. Helene used to sit, she talks about it. If her husband was driving to their lake house, she would have a stack ready to go. She talked about it. I can't see where to enter. Okay, if you go to, hang on, let me just go. If someone, I'll get Rochelle to do it. She's techie. Go to my website and just grab the link. And it's the blog post of the 1 in 5. It should be on the homepage. If not, I did something wrong. But then you can always click on CQ giveaways. And if it's not there for some reason, just click blog. But it should be there. And then on the 2nd of every month, I usually host my masterclass giveaway, which I've got to set up. I haven't set it up yet. So there's a chance to win with me. I'm always giving something away. Oh, Rochelle's like, I'm on top of it. I love it. See, now Rochelle comes to our contest club meetings. If you want to hang around with fellow sweepers. So what happened was when I started researching my first book, you can't win if you don't enter. I discovered sweepstakes clubs in the United States. We didn't have any in Canada. And I started one in my town. And we used to have people come all the time. And I molded it originally after the ones in the US. We would go to a restaurant and sit and talk. And then one of the guys that was coming all the time, this was, like in 2005 and 6, he said, we should be doing, if we're going to hang around in sweepstakes, we should be learning. So we would then start going to his house and setting up on the Wi-Fi, and he would set up a projector and have a screen, and we would learn things. Like, we would help each other win and learn how to sweep better from each other. It was like a classroom, like a sweepstakes classroom. Tom and I both teach online. This was like in person before anybody was doing any of stuff online. And then some people got pissy with that because they like the social aspect. So then, okay, whatever. And we're like, yeah, we don't care. You can't please everybody. And then, I just had a little blank. So then we started just meeting at coffee shops, just going to Starbucks and still, oh no. Oh dear, I'm just going to go and find it because nobody can find the sweepstakes. What have I done wrong? I know it's there. Yeah, it's right here. It is right there. All right. I'm going to copy the link and put it in the chat. There we go. There we go. There you go. Everyone has a chance to win now. And so we started meeting at coffee shops, and it was great. We go to Starbucks, or where they had the boardroom table, and we'd all sit around with our laptops and get coffees and muffins and chat and help each other sweep. And it was fun. We used to do that once a month. And of course, then the pandemic hit and we stopped meeting. And then, but I had been using Zoom for 3 years to teach online. And I thought, why don't I just have a Zoom meeting with all my sweepstakes buddies? So I started putting it out there. Hey, who wants to hang out on, this day at this time and just chat? And a lot of people did, because they really missed all the connection and hanging out with people. And I just kept it up because there's a lot of cities that there's no clubs at all. There's some people that just aren't physically able to go out and hang out at a club meeting, That's the nice thing about the hobby, is that because it is online, if you're able to use a computer, you're not limited in your mobility. So we have all kinds of people coming to our club meetings, and it's so fun. We have a lot of regulars. Mary says, Carolyn puts out a masterclass contest, enters, outstanding. I was an old sweeper and still learned so much. Yeah, it's, what, the hobby's always changing. Even I'm always learning. Like, it's just crazy at how, like, when Helene was entering, it was just, call in on the radio, enter by mail, or find something in a store. And it is so diverse now. Like, and the technology is changing faster and faster and faster. So yeah, so Rosalind said there's no club in Houston, right? So just come to my club meeting, online, right? It's great because now I do charge $1 because, 1, it helps mitigate the cost of Zoom, and 2, it helps me track who's coming. And the reason I started doing that is because I had no way to track. And then one day I put it out there and I had 1,300 people sign up for the newsletter to be notified when the contest club meeting was. And I panicked. So I thought, okay, we have to limit it to like 20 people because I can't have like 1,000 people sign up. Could you imagine? Oh, goodness. And we like to do a roll call and talk and laugh. One meeting, I don't know what was happening. It went off the rails. It's pretty funny. We have Beverly. She's 83. She likes coming. She's always learning. We have Bill, who's in Florida. She's in Indiana. She went to the Daytona. Anyway, it's so much fun. We have so many different types of people. Rochelle comes. She's in Texas. Regular. We have Debbie. She's out in Vancouver. I'm near Toronto. We have Caroline. She sometimes comes. She's in Australia. So she's our time traveler because it's tomorrow there when she comes to our meetings. Right? How fun is that? And Yeah, so anybody can join us. I don't even remember that. Isn't that terrible? I don't even remember the date of our next meeting. Just go to the events page on my website, and I have them all listed, because next month is only one of 3 times a year I'm teaching classes, because I cut it down. I was doing it every month and it was too much. So now I've consolidated them to 3 times a year. And so if you want to learn, those are your September, January, and May are when I'm holding my classes. And I think Tom's doing his this fall too. It's late September, I think he's starting. I'm just doing all throughout the month of September, plus the virtual contest club meetings. Plus I'm also taking Silva training. I'm turning into Helene. Oh, thank you. September 7th. Oh, look at this, Caroline. She's on it. She put the whole calendar in there for us. So the 2 meetings are the 12th and the 30th. Oh yeah. So most of the time, so what I do when I book my club meetings is, because not everybody's available at the same time. So I try to change the days of the week. If it's during the week, I do it at 7:30 at night, Eastern time. And then there's people that work nights or can't attend. So I do sometimes weekend ones. I do a Saturday and a Sunday. So in September, it's on Saturday, and on October, I did it on a Sunday. So then people can come. And then those ones I do in the afternoon, like at 1:00, because nobody wants to come on a Sunday or Saturday night. Hello, you've got things to do, places to go, people to see, or sit and sweep. Oh, Mary Ellen. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed that I didn't even talk about Mary Ellen. She always likes to come. She's so fun. Her grandson, she gave me some gift bags, so I sent some stuff for her grandson, and he just loved it. And they sent me the cutest picture, but I don't want to put another child's picture online. But the face he made in that picture, everybody at our house thought it was fantastic. He was so happy with all the Canadian treats we sent him. He's, I think, 9 or 10, or I don't know. He's a handful. He's awesome. And that's the other thing, this hobby is great, especially when you can share it with people, or you win things that you can take your kids, your grandkids to. I mean, it is so fun. Tom Cavalli won a Disney cruise, and he just did the best video with his nieces. He has a Mickey that says Uncle in Disney font. And then he has his nieces have Big Sis and Little Sis, and they did a little, we going on a cruise, and then they covered the camera and popped back, and then they were on the boat. It was so cute. So he doesn't have kids, but him and his wife, they spoil their nieces. These girls are they just love the hobby. And Uncle Tom, and he wins all the best stuff for them. And that's, and now they have memories for a lifetime that otherwise wouldn't happen. That's why I think this hobby is the best. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. It's 9:03. And hopefully I'll see you at one of the meetings. There's spaces, like I use Calendly now, so it's automatic, and you should see how, I think it shows you how many spots are left. And I mean, I do have a bit of a buffer, because the Zoom screen holds up to 25. So I limit it to 20 because I'm 21. So if it's really stuck and it's sold out, just message me and maybe I can squeeze you in, because we don't want to go more than one screen's worth of people. Oh, next meeting, September 12th. So there you go. So 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, I don't know. 3, because 14 to be 2, so 2.5, 3 weeks. Tito's is asking me for an update and sending me a gift for dogs. Oh my gosh, how fun if you have puppies. I am not a puppy person. Don't have time for puppies. But you might see the dog at the next club meeting, because we're going to be dog sitting for 3 weeks while my mom goes away. And her dog is really good, but I'm not a dog person. And her dog is super good. So anyway, bye for now. I will see you in a month. I'm working on getting guests signed up again. So I'm going to be doing interviews not for September, but for October and November. And then we take December off because it is sweepstakes season. And sometimes I do a check-in. We'll see how everyone's doing. Anyway, thanks, and many wins to